Hello everyone, and welcome back to Edge of Normal Workshop. Thank you so much for joining us. Now let's get started. Kitchen knives. There's so many types, brands, materials, it can all get a little bit overwhelming. And we get asked questions about them every day. So we decided to put together a series of videos to help break it all down, and hopefully you'll be able to find it helpful. Today we're going to look at the basic parts of kitchen knives, some materials, how to take care of your kitchen knives, and a few important safety tips. Alright, first we're going to start with the basic parts of a kitchen knife. The handle is the part you hold on to. Hexagonal, ovate, rectangular, these are all common handle shapes and are really up to personal preference. Handle materials can range from wood to high-tech composites and plastics, as well as bone, antler, and metal. Every material has its own pros and cons, and we'll be talking about that in a later video. The bolster is a transition between the handle and the blade and can take on a few different forms. Full bolsters extend the whole width of the blade. Half bolsters only extend partway down the blade, and some knives have no bolster at all, just the blade extending from the handle. The heel is the part of the edge that ends closest to the handle, and this can take on different forms on different types of knives. We'll talk about this when we're learning about the different types of knives in a later video. The edge is where the cutting happens, and should be free from chips, nicks, and rolled sections. If you have any of those, it's time to sharpen it. The tip is the part of the blade furthest from the handle and is usually a very sharp point. This is typically also the thinnest part of the blade, and care should be taken to not damage it. The spine is the top edge of the blade that tapers gently from the bolster all the way down to the tip. Alright, so on to materials. Kitchen knives are usually made of stainless steel or high carbon steel. Knives can also be made from ceramic materials, but we recommend staying away from those. Stainless steel is very low maintenance and is the most common choice for kitchen knives. Although, care must be taken when shopping for a stainless steel knife because low-end alloys do not hold an edge very well. Carbon steel requires slightly more regular maintenance than a stainless steel knife to prevent rust. It takes only seconds, and once it's a habit, it's no big deal. The extra care that's required is more than made up for because high carbon steels can usually be sharpened to a much finer edge. The reason we recommend staying away from ceramic knives is that they are extremely hard to sharpen, and they don't cut anywhere near as well as a sharp steel knife. Alright, now on to how to take care of your knives. It's important to take care of your knives to keep them in top cutting shape for as long as possible and to prevent damage. One of the most common causes of damage we see is not using the right cutting surface. Plastic and wood cutting boards are our top recommendation. These offer a soft material to cut into and are easy to clean. Never cut on your countertops or in metal pans or trays. This will quickly damage the edge to the point of needing to be professionally resharpened. Glass cutting boards are an absolute no-go. These are often advertised as extremely easy to clean, but are guaranteed to do severe damage to your knives. You can see here the damage a high-quality knife sustained because it was used on a glass cutting board. We were able to repair it, but it took years of sharpenings off the life of the blade. Frozen foods are also something that you should avoid cutting with your kitchen knives. They can do the same amount of damage as a glass cutting board, and using all that extra force, it's very likely that you'll slip and cut yourself. Just let your foods thaw before you cut it up. While you're using your knife, it's a good idea to wipe it off every so often with a clean towel. This helps to prevent staining and is especially important when you're using a carbon steel knife, although stainless steel can also be stained by acidic foods such as tomatoes. When you're finished cutting, it's best to wash your knife off right away. This helps prevent staining and rust. All you need is warm water and dish soap on a soft towel, and it'll only take you a couple of seconds. Drying your knife off as soon as you're done washing it is the best way to prevent rust. All steel knives can rust, even if it's stainless steel. Knife storage is a topic we're going to be talking about in a later video in greater detail, but I want to bring it up now. Magnetic knife racks, as well as knife blocks, are both good options. The most common damage we see to knives is from the dishwasher. Dishwashers are great for cleaning up after your meals, but they wreak absolute havoc on your knives. High temperatures, moisture, and banging into other objects all cause damage to your knives, and washing them by hand can save years of their lifespan. It only takes a second, but it's worth it. Kitchen knives are also not screwdrivers, ice picks, pry bars, or pan scrapers, and they should only be used for cutting food. And finally, let's look at some tips that'll help you stay safe while using your knives. A sharp knife is a safe knife. This may seem counterintuitive, but when you're using a dull knife, you have to push a lot harder, and that increases the chance of the knife slipping and hitting you. And trust me, a cut from a sharp knife heals so much faster than a cut from a dull knife. If you find yourself struggling to cut, it's probably time to sharpen your knives. Don't cut towards yourself. Seems pretty simple, but oftentimes you don't even realize you're doing it. Holding the food you're cutting securely and with the right techniques helps prevent a lot of injuries. The best way to hold food is by turning your non-dominant hand into a claw. Here you can see what I'm talking about. I take my left hand and bend the first section of my fingers so it sits behind the knuckle. It takes a little bit of practice at first, but eventually it becomes habit. By using the first knuckle of my index or middle finger as a guide for the flat face of the blade, you gain lots of control over your cut and help you cut faster, as well as prevent injury. I've also seen a number of cooks cut themselves while opening packages with a kitchen knife. This task is better suited to kitchen shears or scissors. Well, we're going to wrap it up there for today. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Over the next couple of videos, we'll be looking at the common types of kitchen knives and their uses. We'll also be talking about a couple of other topics that go right alongside the rest of this series, such as knife storage and some tips for when you're buying a knife. If you want to keep up with the rest of the series and all the other great projects we have planned for the year, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Your support makes this all possible. You can also follow us on Facebook and Instagram to keep up with the day-to-day operations. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.